Ladies and gentlemen, what is cracking? So back at Tate's, and today I am tackling this guy who's been out for a while. Haven't seen that many reviews, maybe because I haven't really been searching for them, but I saw it and I'm like, you know what? Let's give this guy a chance. He looks really awesome. And yeah, so I decided to review him, and this is what's cracking. So first we have this massive box, because he's pretty big, and pretty nice. You got the front side, which looks like a campaign poster for like in the movie, to destroy the Kaijus and whatnot. Pretty cool, nicely done by Sideshow. The back has the logo for the PPDC, the Pan Pacific Defense Corps, which again, very simple, pretty cool. And on the side here, it has the name Slattern. I'm gonna rape that name, so Slattern. That's what I'm gonna call him. Category 5, which was I think the biggest one we saw in the movie. He was ginormous, and yeah, so that's pretty much for the box. Then you have this guy who is pretty awesome. Let me move this box out of the way. So the statue is relatively simple when it comes to what it comes with. It's only the kaiju, the base, and it has lights, so pretty cool. Let's start off with by the face. Again, this is I think this was my favorite kaiju from the movie, if not one of my favorites. Not just because it was humongous, but because of the design and how he moved in the water. So if you remember, he never came out of the water. It was all on the water action. But he looks really sweet. We really don't get a good feeling of the monster, how he looks and whatnot, because obviously one, it was pretty dark down there, and second, it was all action, so it was just crazy. So it's pretty cool to get to see him frozen in a pose and see what he looks like for real. So the face has that hammerhead looking face. As you can see, it comes with lights. The base, at the bottom of the base, there's a little button where you can turn him on and off, which is nice. Batteries, of course. And the mouth also lights up, which is pretty kick-ass. The regular. Anyways, looks pretty cool. There is definitely the paint applications could have been done a little bit better. It just looks like they just slapped them on there, especially the dark colors, that brownish looking color. It just doesn't look like it's part of his skin, you know what I'm saying? It blatantly looks like somebody painted it. So one of those things that I would have liked to see a lot better would have been the paint application in the face. Not saying it's bad, I mean, it looks good, and again, this is me going up close right here, but it would have been nice to see it a little bit better, less of, we painted it, and more like, oh, this is, organic, this is part of his skin, blah, blah, blah. The teeth look pretty cool, very simple, they're painted the same as the statue, like that, I don't even know what you would call that, this color, right, this green peach color, grayish. So there's really no, I don't even know if they were like that in the movie or not, so I can't really say, yo, they were white in the movie, they were black in the movie, I don't remember. So it's not something that really, it would have been nice to see a little bit more detail again, but, again, whatever. It's not like somebody's gonna be looking at the teeth, especially with the lights on, it's gonna be looking pretty cool, so maybe that's why they do it. Pretty sweet, you got that bone structure in the top of the head. The neck looks really nice. Let me tell you something. The skin detail on this is fantastic. I took great shots of all the little skin. Again, I mean, it's just ridiculous. It looks very time consuming. So they definitely took the time to make every single piece of skin, scale, whatever you want to call it. And I think everybody that was involved in sculpting this guy really did a pretty awesome job with the sculpt. The sculpt is fantastic. Take the colors away from it, and the sculpt is fantastic. I mean, if you were to paint this by somebody that, a professional, if you will, not a factory, this would be billion times better, because the sculpt is really sick. So yeah, the skins look really cool, but let me not deviate. We're talking about the head. So the neck is really nice. It comes all the way up to the. He has like this. I don't know if it's like a fin or it looks more like a bone, some structure back here, like a little pyramid. But it has all this light. There's this fine blue lines all around his body. Some are done really nice, some are done really sloppy. It's really minute detail, so you really have to get in there and look at it. Like I just noticed this one. I didn't even notice it when I was doing the close-ups, but I'm sure it's in the close-ups. Instead of following the right line, it's like like they just swoops it. So again, it's one of those things that would have been great, perfect, but you unfortunately can't expect perfection. Even though you're paying, $470, whatever this thing costs. It costs a lot of money. But again, it's minor detail. It sucks though. But you have all that bluish lines. It's all over the statue, especially in the back, and going down to the tail, which the tail is ginormous. I'll get into that in a second. But it looks really cool. It would have been nice if all that would lit up, but now you're getting into doing it hollow where you're gonna put the lines, more power, blah blah blah. So I'm getting too pumped there. But let's continue down the tail. Might as well. I mean, the tail looks really nice. Again, the detail with the sculpt is fantastic. There's actually 3 tails, if I'm not mistaken. I don't know if they come. It looks like he has 1 tail, but it splits into 3 pieces at the end. I barely remember this from the movie. I haven't seen it in a while. But you can see that the 3 different fragments at the bottom right here, where the actual tail splits up, which is really nice. And then you got the really long fragment. That's the one that comes all the way up here. That looks pretty cool. Again, redundant. The detail on the tail is fantastic. You can see a lot of wear and tear on the scales he has on here. The paint is actually pretty good here. It doesn't have the light blue. The only where it has is on the side. It's like where the tails begin to separate. You can see that there's a blue line on that tail right there, and at the bottom of the scales, which I get a shot from the bottom, so you can actually see that blue line. Otherwise, you wouldn't even see it. So, but it's not that prominent, so you don't really see it that much. All you see is the weathering they did on the scales, and you can appreciate the sculpt a lot more, which is again awesome. I really like the sculpt. The sculpt is on point. So yeah, the tails come all the way up to here, really nice, hugging the base, which is pretty cool. I'll get into that in a second. And yes, on the tail, it also has 4 different little tentacles, I'm gonna say. They're part of the tail, which you can see right here. They have I think this is the sloppiest blue paint that you're gonna see on the statue. It's really like just on there. So it doesn't look too bad because you're not seeing it up front. So it's not something that's gonna be very dominant on the statue. But still, if you get in front of it, you can see it's like so. But still, it looks really cool, and I like the way they post them. I like how this one is coming out, so it gives the statue a little bit more width. It gives him motion, and I can't praise the sculpt enough. So that's pretty sweet. The feet are pretty cool as well. Of course, they benefit a lot from the scale details. It has a lot of scales up in here. It definitely also benefits from the fact that there's no blue on there, so you don't get none of that sloppy painting there, which is fantastic. You can see the claws down here are pretty cool. Again, it all comes down to the paint apps. I keep repeating myself, but I wish there were better paint apps. Not that they're bad, but I wish they were better. It goes all the way up, and it actually he has like this, like his bone. You can kind of see the gap between on his leg. Like there's like muscle on top, but there's like little muscle on the bottom, and you can kind of see the separation where the bone would separate, the femur or whatever you call that bone. which is kind of cool. Again, that's part of the design of the actual creature, which is again really cool. And at the end, it comes down to like this clawish thing that he has in the back. It's like a huge nail, which again I'm sure he uses to kick some ass, which is pretty cool. The bottom one also has the same thing, and looks really good. You can actually appreciate the sculpting on the side of the foot on this one, because it's on that angle, which is, you know, again, fantastic. It looks really nice. You can also appreciate the belly of the beast in that part of the tail as well. So that's really nice looking right there. A lot of detail between you know, the belly and all that stuff. So that looks really pretty sweet. I mean, it looks awesome. What else? And you got the hands. I keep going down. I forget about the hands. Then you got the hands. The hands have the same gap that the leg has on the right here. I forgot what you call that. So it has that same gap, but it's not. It doesn't come all the way out. I think it's because of how the statue is. But it still has that same gap. It still has the great scales looking sculpting and sweetness all around. The other hand, the only major problem I really have with this statue is this hand right here, the one that's holding the base. There is some coloration difference from where he's holding the base, which obviously comes off the hand. Like, I'm sure that rock was supposed to be blue and not that color. So that is my only big complaint is WTF, what happened here? Wasn't that supposed to be the same color as the base? Why was it painted this weird ass color? It's definitely not part of his hand, because if you look at this hand, there's no like mesh or something like ducks have. It doesn't have any of that stuff. So, which at first I thought about that, but it has none of that. So that's a big oops to me. If it's something else, somebody let me know in the comments. But to me, seeing it here in person for the first time, it looks bad. So even if it was something else, it just looks bad. So I hate that. That's the first thing I looked at it. I'm like, oh, wait a minute, why is that different from the rocks? So that was the main thing that pissed me off about this statue. So, you know, it's minor, but whatever. And then you got the base. The base is pretty cool. It's painted really well. There's a lot of dry brushing done, which pops and makes it pop out really, really good. The rocks look really nice. They were sculpted really cool. They look like coral rocks. And then you have the like this huge, which I really like, with the huge tanker, like half of a tanker here, so you can get a size of a scale, or a sense, not a size of scale, but a sense of scale with the half of the tanker there, and how big this guy is. I mean, he is freaking humongous in the movie. So you got that, and then the actual part, the bottom part of the base looks really nice. It gives me the impression that it kind of looks like a rotor on a boat or something like that, or some part of an engine on one of the robots. But it looks really nice, simple, well done, and the paint app is really good as well. And again, you can see the little button back here, so in case you didn't see it before. So yeah, that's pretty much all I have to say about this guy. Really cool. I already explained myself, so I'm not gonna keep saying anything else. I'm gonna go get Anthony and see what he thinks about this statue. And it's kind of weird that I'm so mellow right now. Boom. Anyways, alrighty. Ladies and gentlemen, what is crack-a-lackin'? So I brought Anthony from downstairs, and I wanted to see what he thinks about this guy. So Anthony, Bobby, talk to me, man.
He is awesome. The Slattern is cool. He was one of the cooler kaiju in the movie in general, except for that one weird winged one, which I also thought was really cool, but whatever, that's not about this. He's super badass. He lights up just like the other kaiju statue they put out, which I thought was really cool.
Knife Head, right?
Knife Head was the first one they put out, of which I have the head at my house because we got one broken and we had to destroy it before they replaced it, so I kept the head. He's really cool. He's got an awesome base. A pretty good paint job.
Look at those blue lines, though. Look at it.
I feel like it's a little flat.
Yep.
If they had added a gloss to him, especially since he's in the washer.
See, that would have been nice. I didn't think of that, but yeah, I do agree it's a little bit flat.
If they had added a little bit of a gloss to him, and some of the blue lines seem like they're kind of just,
I said that the Chinese people were so tired. They're like,
fuck it. I don't give a shit. But it's still very nice. Really, really well sculpted. Like, even in his arms, you can see that in his forearm, he has two different forearm bones that separate. They actually sculpt. They have the hole that separates. You can see through it. It's really cool. If you look right here. Yeah. Like, it's really well sculpted. But yeah, like, the blue lines are a little haphazardly put on, and I feel like they just added a gloss. I think if they had added a gloss, you wouldn't even give a shit about this stuff.
Yeah.
It just needs a gloss. Like a clear, nice, glossy, slimy, wet
They need to start doing that with creatures, man. They don't do that. I don't know why. Maybe... well,
because that was a complaint we had. I had on the... It's like, just a gloss. Just add a gloss. Especially because he's in the water. He's supposed to be in the water. You never see him on dry land. This is supposed to be undersea. This is an undersea rock formation at a volcanic vent. Fucking make him shiny.
Yeah.
Otherwise, he's really nice.
And my first biggest issue is that. Why is that?
Why? Yeah, that's where he joins to the base. And it's just so.
It's like they completely
cumbersome.
forgot to paint it.
Yeah.
They didn't know what the base color was gonna be, so they painted it some other thing. That is
of the two. I will say, Knifehead is the nicer statue.
Yeah.
He has a gloss.
Oh, he does?
Knifehead is glossy, which is weird because he doesn't live in the water. Well, technically they all come from the water.
True, they all come from.
But still, yeah, the base is nice itself though. But yeah, like I thought that was awkward. It just looks so clunky and big. It looks like either they didn't paint it or like it was flashing. They forgot to cut away.
Exactly. It's just weird. It is so weird. It's just.
I will say this. And this is just a personal weird issue. The Knifehead looks awesome and he feels big. This guy is supposed to be twice as big as the Knifehead, and he just feels so tiny to me. I don't know what it is. For some reason, he just feels so small. And part of that is like, okay, for this thing's right here, there's a boat. Now, this boat is pretty much the size of his head and neck. Whereas the Knifehead comes with a boat, too, and that boat is like this big.
I know, right? He's supposed to be humongous.
He's supposed to be the bigger of the kaiju. He just feels very tiny, even though he's not really. And I get it, but like, he built it to scale. Like, he should be like this big.
That would be it.
It's the size of Galactus.
It's already almost $500. So
exactly.
He's
a pretty good. He's nice. He's well sculpted. I do like him. Not gonna lie, I might be blinded by the light. I just feel like again a gloss would help things out, and I don't get a sense of scale with him. He just seems so tiny to me. I don't know. It's just me.
Because he's supposed to be, the
he's
biggest
supposed to be
one.
the biggest fucking one.
Yeah.
So he just feels tiny. I will say this, and this is a weird thing. This comes from my 3D animation background and doing textures. The way they painted the scales is not as well as I wish it. The whole like dark and light, some of it seems a little too random.
Like, even here, that just looks like somebody literally painted it.
It doesn't seem like this is not how an animal isn't just randomly. There's a white one there, and then a bunch of them. There's random. It seems a little too random, a little too not how an animal would be. I spent a lot of years in school, like studying textures and how animals are, because I used to do my own textures. Mm-hmm. I would never have done it like this. I would have had a bit more of a uniformity in it. The coloring is not as uniform as I feel like it should be. But also, this thing's not a real creature. So
look at even that. Look at there.
Yep.
So yeah, there's the paint apps. They could have been.
It just needed better paint because the sculpt is there.
That's
the sculpt is there. You take all the paint away. Yep. The sculpt is there.
That's exactly what I said. Let's rewind. Can we rewind right now? It's like what I said. I'm like, if you just take the paint away, the sculpt is phenomenal. If you get a professional to paint this, obviously going to cost you an arm and a leg, but this will pop and just be freaking ridiculous.
Because even like the individual plates on his tail are all perfectly sculpted.
Plates.
The spine in here is all sculpted. All the individual little plates have little seams and like divots, and they're all unique. It's not like uniform. It's all unique.
It's so weathered, like meaning like he's seen battles, and scrapes and all that stuff.
The sculpt is 100% there. It's the paint job that lets it down, unfortunately. Whereas the Knifehead has such a higher quality paint job on it. And for the Knifehead is sculpted nice, but the sculpt is not nearly as detailed as this is. But it's got a fucking awesome paint job that makes up for it. So it's a weird.
It's interesting.
And it does not look nearly as good as the version of this I saw at Comic-Con 2 years ago.
Oh, you saw the prototype.
We saw the prototype. Well, we saw the prototype, and I understand the prototypes are not what you're going to get, but I would like to look at least a little close.
You get Yohas and Mesta.
For $500, I want a better paint job.
True. I agree. Definitely a better paint job.
Still cool, but not fucking
Cool, better paint job, which is what I said already. I'm glad this is probably the first time we were like, BAM! on the nose. But Anthony, as usual, thank you so much for
You're
coming
welcome. I'm
and
going
showing
that
us
way.
Black Lag, and I'm going this way. Actually, no, I'm going this way because I'm a rebel.
What?
Tú sabes, loco. Ya tú sabes la que hay, ya tú sabes la que hay. Hey, yeah, you, check this out. Right, see that button? Click it, man. Subscribe if you like. If you don't like, let me know why. But, you know what I'm saying? You better subscribe because, I don't know.